15 years after memorably co-hosting the FIFA World Cup in 2002, Korea Republic was eager to dazzle once again, this time staging the biggest global tournament in youth football. 6 cities hosting 52 games. Among those, 24 teams competing for the prize, the local heroes. Any possible host nation nerves were swept aside as Korea Republic kicked off their Group A campaign in style. There were commanding wins over CAF representatives Guinea and 6-time winners Argentina. They were already through to the final 16 by the time they were beaten by England in their final game. Elsewhere, Uruguay impressed, ending the group stages unbeaten and top of Group D. And in Group F, the USA's Josh Sargent caught the eye as his side powered their way through against Saudi Arabia, Ecuador and Senegal.
Among those looking to progress beyond the group stage was South Africa, who were playing at their first FIFA Under-20 tournament for 8 years.
We've been fighting for this. It was our dream, and I feel now we're living our dream. We're always talking about the 2017 World Cup in Korea. Of course, it was our target. So I'm happy for my team. We reached our dream as a team.
This is obviously a tournament that lays foundations, for big stars to come, Messi played this tournament, Maradona himself played this tournament, Thierry Henry, so also we have our big stars also like Benny McCarthy. So I believe that it will help them lay their careers overseas. It will help them to become stars, of tomorrow.
Defeat to Japan in their opening match left South Africa with little room for error. But their next opponents were Italy.
I think Italian games was a really, really tough game because they weren't easy opponents. They were aggressive. The strike was fighting. You see, it was a really mental game whereby we showed our character, even though we didn't get, that luck to score goals.
A goalless draw against Uruguay led to South Africa's exit. A proud performance to end the adventure with heads held high.
We played the best football we played in the tournament throughout the 90 minutes, and everyone gave their best, and everyone played well as a team. This is a team that I knew, and this is the football we can play. And we represented the country very well, regardless of the result. The team that you play here is the best teams in the world. So it may not be easy. People may think it's easy, but it's tough, it's difficult. But for us, we learned a lot.
The type of football we played against both Japan and Uruguay, this is something that one will always cherish. This is something the boys will always cherish. And back home, people will always be proud of the boys.
Coming here, our hopes are high and have to go home this early in the tournament. It's a little bit painful, but then again, it's part of football. This is what makes football so interesting. This is just how football is. Some you win and some you lose. So we learned a lot coming here, and going back, we'll just take all we learned and take it with us as players and work more harder. And whenever there's another tournament, we'll come back stronger.
Sometimes as a football player, when things aren't going well for your side, you have to be a man enough, and you have to be strong enough to take it. Because we've tried our best. I'm so fortunate to be part of the 2017 World Cup. I was the captain of the team. Our team didn't do well, but there's no one who's going to take the history that we've done for ourselves. We've been there. We experienced how does it feel to be an under-20 player.
At the conclusion of the group stage, South Africa finished bottom of Group D. Uruguay, Italy and Japan, one of the 4 best third-place teams, all progressed to the last 16. The hosts made it through from Group A along with England. That meant the tournament's most successful nation, Argentina, were the surprise casualties who would not be adding to their 6 titles.
Into the knockout stage, Korea Republic were up against Portugal, while Japan and Venezuela would also meet for a place in the quarter-finals. European heavyweights France and Italy renewed their rivalry in Chonan, while New Zealand took on the USA.
Venezuela's involvement in Korea Republic marked only their second appearance at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. But they stunned their group, winning all 3 games without conceding a single goal. Their head coach, Rafael Dudamel, is also in charge of the senior national side.
The team has shown an unwavering desire in every game and for every minute of every game. We're not just a team that plays well at the start or a side that's very tactical, but a team that has kept growing. And the players who have stayed in the team have got better and better.
I think we've had a great tournament, both as a group and individually. The truth is, we've done really well. And keeping focused is a key part of our success. Aside from that, we have very talented players up front who can make the most of the opportunities we create.
The round of 16 was the furthest La Vino Tinto had ever gone in a men's World Cup. Against Japan in Daejeon, the South Americans were hoping to progress even further. And they withstood early pressure from the Japanese, Ritsu Doan agonisingly close to opening the scoring for Japan. The impressive Wilker Farines then played his part, ensuring the game went to extra time, where Yangel Herrera rose to head Venezuela into the quarter-finals.
Scoring this goal in the World Cup will go down in my country's history because it's now the best performance Venezuela have achieved in a World Cup. This is a beautiful moment in my career. I must thank God for all of it, and I'm still working to keep making more history for my country.
In terms of the quality of the opposition, it's what we expected it to be, and what we've been preparing the players for. It was a really great game, and it makes us really proud to have beaten an opponent as good as Japan. This generation will change the history of Venezuelan football. This generation was born to win. And with these amazing players, we'll always be able to keep dreaming.
Elsewhere in the last 16, in a rematch of last summer's European Under-19 Championship final, Italy's Riccardo Orsolini opened the scoring against France. Jean-Kevin Augustin had scored 3 goals in the tournament already. His 4th put France back in the game. Giuseppe Panico struck early in the second half to restore Italy's lead. And some fine reactions from Andrea Zaccagno meant they held on to it. Italy were into the last 8. The USA struck 5 second-half goals to beat New Zealand 6-0 in their round of 16 clash. That equalled their biggest ever tournament win from 24 years ago. But the game of the round took place in Jeju. Germany took the lead against Zambia, only for the Zambians to respond with 3 second-half goals. It was 3-1 with a minute to play when this happened. And then Jonas Artweiler hit a late leveller for the Germans. But Shemi Mayembe had the last word with a dramatic extra-time winner for Zambia.
Elsewhere, Korea Republic's tournament came to an end after losing to Portugal. 2013 runners-up Uruguay overcame Saudi Arabia, and Ademola Lookman was England's 2-goal hero against Costa Rica. While a late goal from Ronaldo Cisneros secured a win for Mexico against 2015 semi-finalists Senegal.
Uruguay had impressed en route to the quarter-finals. For their coach, Fabian Coito, the 2017 tournament marks the second consecutive FIFA Under-20 World Cup in charge of the national team.
We're motivated, we're happy, and we're satisfied with the players' performances within the team. The group effort has been very good, and I think we've got this far on merit.
Coito was hopeful that his team could win a first-ever Junior World Cup title for the country.
Uruguay is a team that is respected all over the world. We create great footballers that play in some great teams. I'm certain that soon these players will be shining bright, so that makes me feel very proud. And in the case of this particular team, we've had a beautiful relationship for many years. I know these kids really well. There are some fantastic players. They are very humble and willing to make personal sacrifices for the good of the national team. To me, as their coach, this fills me with pride.
The young Celeste weren't going to underestimate their quarter-final opponents, Portugal, though.
Well, I think we played well in the group stage. It was hard, we faced some tough opposition, but we managed to qualify after our first 2 games, which is difficult to do in any competition. We're watching and we're following the tournament. It's something that makes a huge difference mentally, and I think analysing your rivals is very important.
Portugal have many important players. It seems to me that they're a very serious, mature group. They're very good. I think they're strong individually and as a team. So we're up against a great opponent.
But it took less than a minute for the Europeans to strike in Daejeon. Xander Silva, the first opponent to score against Uruguay in Korea. Santiago Bueno, a youth player at Barcelona, levelled within a quarter of an hour. But Diogo Gonçalves restored Portugal's advantage with some style. In a pulsating encounter, Uruguay came back once more. Federico Valverde's penalty forced extra time. And with no further scoring, it was back to the penalty spot to decide the fate of both sides.
We've been practicing penalties a little bit during the training sessions. And to be honest, we feel confident about taking them.
And under the new ABBA format, where teams each take 2 penalties in a row after the initial spot kick, goalkeeper Santiago Mele proved Uruguay's hero, saving consecutive Portuguese penalties in sudden death and giving Bueno the chance to secure a place in the semi-finals. Uruguay through to the Final Four for a 6th time, where they would face Venezuela, who needed extra time in their quarter-final against USA, but eventually won 2-1 to continue their fairy tale.